Before 2011, Ched Evans was a striker on the rise, born in Rhyl, molded at Manchester City, and flourishing at Sheffield United, where goals seemed to secure his future. But then, a single verdict split his career in two. Overnight, he lost not just matches, but an entire profession. What really happens when a career is not ended by injury or by age, but is divided forever by one moment? Rhyl sits on the north coast of Wales, a town where the wind off the Irish Sea sharpens everything: mornings, ambitions, and the lines on a muddy football pitch. For Ched Evans, born here in December 1988, football was not just a pastime. It was a way to carve out a sense of direction among rows of terraced houses and gray skies. Early matches meant more than points or trophies. They meant structure. Coaches at local clubs noticed his drive before his technique. He was a forward who did not dazzle, but who always seemed to be in the right place. His style was simple, strong, direct, always moving toward goal. At 13, Evans left home for Manchester City Academy. The path from a small Welsh town to one of England's biggest clubs was steep. The academy was full of players with sharper skills and bigger reputations, but Evans stood out for his work and his hunger. He learned to adapt, to fight for every minute on the pitch. The city was new, but the routine, training, school, matches gave him purpose. Those years shaped him, a teenager learning to compete, to handle pressure, and to chase a place in the professional game. Sheffield United paid £3 million to bring Ched Evans from Manchester City in July 2009, a figure that signaled real expectation. For a championship club, that kind of investment demanded results, not just potential. Evans delivered. In his first season, he found the net 14 times across all competitions, quickly becoming the team's top scorer. His style fit the league: physical, uncomplicated, always looking to turn half chances into goals. The following year, even as the team struggled, Evans kept his scoring rate steady, adding 11 more goals before the end of April 2011. In total, he scored 25 times in just 67 appearances during this stretch, better than a goal every 3 games. These numbers did not just earn him a place in the starting 11. They made him one of the most reliable strikers in the division. Sheffield United leaned on him for crucial matches, and his output often set the tone for the team. By his mid-20s, Evans was no longer a prospect. He was a proven scorer in one of football's toughest leagues, with time and momentum on his side. On the morning of May 30th, 2011, Ched Evans was arrested in Rhyl. The news spread quickly, first among teammates, then across headlines. For a player who had spent years building a career on routine and reliability, everything changed in a single day. The legal process moved forward through the summer and autumn, each hearing drawing more attention. On April 20th, 2012, at Caernarfon Crown Court, Evans was found guilty and sentenced to 5 years in prison. Sheffield United responded with a public statement and said Evans would not return to training or matches. The club's decision was not drawn out. On May 14th, 2012, they invoked a clause in his contract and terminated his registration, citing the conviction. The language was clinical, with immediate effect, but the impact was total. Overnight, a career that had been measured in goals and appearances was reduced to silence. There was no injury to treat, No timetable for recovery. No conversations about form or fitness. For Evans, the world of football closed its doors. The club moved on. Sponsors distanced themselves. In the space of weeks, years of work and momentum were set aside. What followed was not suspension, but absence, an unmarked gap in a career that until then had only moved forward. 4 years outside the game is not a pause. It is something closer to erasure. After Sheffield United ended his contract in May 2012, Ched Evans disappeared from the lists, the matchday squads, the weekly discussions about form and tactics. There were no training sessions to attend, no chance to keep sharp alongside teammates, no pathway mapped out by club staff. The routines that had shaped his life since childhood, warm-ups, drills, the simple act of lacing boots before a match, were gone. In their place, there was silence. The absence stretched on. From 2012 to 2016, Evans did not play a single professional match. He was not injured, not suspended pending some review, but simply removed from the system. Clubs avoided his name. Sponsors wanted no association. The Professional Footballers Association could offer support, but not a clear route back. In football, even a short layoff can cost a player his edge. 4 years meant watching from a distance as the seasons rolled by, as former teammates changed clubs or retired, as new names filled the spaces where his had once been. There was no set program for rehabilitation, no medical timetable, no guidance on how to stay ready for a return that might never come. The game did not wait. For Evans, each passing month made the possibility of picking up where he left off seem less and less likely. Momentum, once built through years of steady progress, faded into uncertainty. The silence was total, and the way back was unclear. On the 21st of April, 2016, the Court of Appeal quashed Ched Evans' conviction. The judges cited new evidence, statements from 2 witnesses who had not testified at the original trial. Their accounts cast doubt on the complainant's recollection and the events in question. The court ruled that this fresh evidence made the original verdict unsafe and ordered a retrial. Until then, strict reporting restrictions kept the details out of public view. For Evans, the legal process had not ended, but reset. The retrial opened in October 2016 at Cardiff Crown Court. This time, the jury heard the new witness statements in full. They also reviewed the original evidence, including CCTV footage and hotel records. The prosecution and defense each pressed their case, but the central question remained whether the complainant could have consented and whether Evans could have reasonably believed she had. After 4 days of testimony and 2 hours of deliberation, the jury delivered its verdict on the 14th of October, 2016. Evans was found not guilty. The acquittal was immediate and unconditional. The legal record changed in that moment. Years of uncertainty ended with a single word: acquitted. But outside the courtroom, the consequences of the original conviction and the years of absence did not simply disappear. The legal system had spoken, but the world of football was not bound to follow. Ched Evans' acquittal did not erase the reputational risk for football clubs or their sponsors. Decision makers weighed every move against the threat of negative headlines and sponsor withdrawal. The legal outcome changed, but the stigma endured. When Oldham Athletic considered signing Evans in 2015, the backlash was swift. Sponsors threatened to pull tens of thousands of pounds in support. Staff received threats, and a petition against the move gathered over 60,000 signatures in days. The club's owner pointed to financial pressure and division, not doubts about Evans' talent, as the reason for ending talks. For clubs outside the Premier League, losing even one sponsor could tip the balance from survival to crisis. Sheffield United faced similar pressure. Shirt sponsors DBL Logistics and John Holland Sales warned they would walk away if Evans returned. Olympic gold medalist Jessica Ennis-Hill requested her name be removed from a stadium stand. The Professional Footballers Association argued for Evans' right to play, but could not shield clubs from commercial consequences. Media attention was relentless. In 2012, over 1,000 UK articles mentioned Evans, most focusing on his conviction. Even after his 2016 acquittal, nearly 600 articles followed, rarely shifting focus from the case. Social media sentiment stayed overwhelmingly negative. One analysis found 78% of posts critical or hostile when his return was discussed. For club executives, perception now outweighed performance. Every potential signing became a calculation. Goals versus sponsor losses, fan protests, and the risk of becoming a cautionary tale. In modern football, scrutiny can outlast any verdict. Today, reputational risk decides careers as much as talent. In football, a single verdict can outlast the truth, shaping futures long after courts have ruled. The line between opportunity and exile is thinner than ever, and public perception is now the harshest referee. What do you think?